Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about various SQL comparison operators. So they include greater than, less than, greater than or equals to, less than or equals to, not equals to, and equals to. I was forgetting the most basic one. But anyway, let's get into the video. But before we continue, note this is part of a series. I'm creating a bunch of SQL tutorials, so feel free to go and check out the ones that came before this. And yeah, like if you enjoyed this, if you're about to enjoy what's to come, and yeah, subscribe so that we go on along this tutorial. Anyway, let's get into it. The first question: select countries whose life expectancy is greater than 70. So we already have select all from country data. So all we need to add is where. So we're interested in life expectancy, and here is life expectancy. Where life expectancy is greater than 70. Okay, so since this is the only block of code I have, we run. So yeah, let's eyeball through the life expectancies we have here, and as you can see, so far there's nothing above 70. So yeah, as a data analyst, as a data scientist, but I'll speak more toward the data analyst use case, you might be interested on a certain type of person, a certain type of client, a certain type of a data point, and the various SQL comparison operators can help you like filter out who exactly you want. So like here we only want people countries whose life expectancy is greater than 70. So yeah, so before I continue, I'm using MySQL, as you can see. And if you're not familiar with how to load a dataset onto MySQL, how to download MySQL, please feel free to go and check out the first ever tutorial. That is, you'll find it on my SQL tutorial playlist. Just go to the playlist section, and from there you can watch a video on how to import a CSV onto your MySQL environment and make it make it a table. And I also link a tutorial that can help you download MySQL in case you want to follow along using MySQL. Anyway, let's get into the video. The next thing we're going to answer is select countries whose life expectancy is greater than or equals to 70. So this one is, I'll just copy paste. This one is not so different from the initial one. The only difference is it's greater than or equals to. So that means 70 is inclusive. And since this is the second block of code that we are working with here, we have to highlight and run. So yeah, I don't think we have anyone who is exactly 70, but what would make this differ from the first example is, the first example will start from 71 or 70.1 going up, but this one will also include 70, and that's how you basically use greater than or equals to in comparison to greater than. So the next question we're going to answer is select countries whose inflation is less than or equals to 25. So this one is also pretty straightforward. So select, we're just going to select all from. And we want where inflation is less than or equals to 25. Okay. And there you go. So let's look at the various inflations. Oh, there, yeah. And so far, I can't see anything that is above 25. So this is less than or equals to, so that means 25 is inclusive. So yeah, these are very, I'd say, a bit basic, a bit simple. So we're starting slow, and then we get into more intermediate examples. So yeah, let's go to the next one. So the next one, we are selecting countries whose inflation is greater than or equals to 8, but less than 20. So yeah, before you continue with me, I'd really like if you try this particular question on your own first. And yeah, and let me know down in the comments, like, how did you do it? Actually paste the code, like how you did it. Yeah, I'd like to see how you would implement this. But yeah, now let's do it together. So we are selecting all from country data. And we want inflation is greater than or equals to 8. So inflation should be greater than or equals to 8. And but less than 20. And inflation again is less than 20. So yeah, who can guess what's going to happen here? Like, what type of data will we have in our output? So let's look through the inflation. So ideally what should happen here is no country that has an inflation greater than or equals to, yeah, less than 8. Any country that has an inflation less than 8 should not appear here. So it should be 8 and above. And at the same time, no country that has an inflation greater than 20 or equals to 20 should appear here. And when we eyeball it, that's what we see. So yeah, so and there are many different ways you could combine greater than or equals to, less than or equals to. I use it a lot when I'm filtering for certain dates. So let's say I want to know how clients have been churning, and I want it to be between January 2023 up to May 2023. So that would be any date that is greater than or equals to the start of January 2023, but it should be less than or equals to the end of May 2023. And as you can see, we've introduced a logical operator. So yeah, as I mentioned before, I'm creating a bunch of tutorials for SQL. So stay tuned. If you're interested, subscribe so we can go along this journey of creating various tutorials, making projects together. So like the next video is going to be logical operators, and I'm going to break it into part 1 and part 2. And yeah, if you find this information useful, if you're learning, yeah, let me know by liking, let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, if there's any particular SQL concept, even Python concept, or anything in Tableau or Power BI you'd want to see me cover, let me know down below. Anyway, let's go. 2 more videos. 2 more questions. So the next one, print out all data points for Albania. Okay, so we want to do select all, because we want all the data points, all columns, yeah, from country data, where country equals to Albania. So whenever you're referencing a data point, so columns are variables, yeah, rows are data points. So like Afghanistan is a data point here, and country is of course in the data type string. So you have to make sure when you're referencing to Albania, you have to put it in quotations. If you don't put it in quotation, we'll try that without putting it in quotations and see what happens. So there you go, you get Albania. So let's try and run this without putting it in quotation. But as you can see, okay, yeah, let's try and run it without putting it in quotations. There, error. Unknown column Albania in where clause, yeah? And it's because there's no column called Albania. You're referencing the content, you're referencing the content of a column. So you have to make sure you put it in quotations, or rather just make sure what you're referencing is in the appropriate data type. So like here, when you're doing inflation greater than or equals to 8 and inflation is less than 20, the inflation column is an integer. So that was okay. It was in the appropriate data type. So you have to do the same when you're referencing to columns that have string. I've forgotten how to get rid of this. Is there a way I can get rid of it? Is it here? Yes, there it is. Okay. So yeah, let's go to the last question. And the last question is going to be a bit long, but don't worry so much because this is just a test. I'm going to do like a whole dedicated video about CTEs. So here I'm going to use something called a CTE, which is a temporary table. Yeah, you can read more about it, but no. Tutorial on SQL CTE is coming soon. Anyway, so print out all the data points, excluding for Algeria, Albania, Angola. So what I'm going to do here first is that we make it more realistic and you can actually see what's happening is. I'm going to first just pull data for Algeria, Albania, Angola, Australia, Austria, Armenia, Bahamas, and Belgium. Yeah. So I'm going to put it in a temporary table, and then I'll call everyone else excluding Algeria. Okay, yeah. So let's do excluding Algeria here. So we can move this one. Actually, it's okay. We can do all three. So when you're writing CTE, you need to start with, let's say, data A as put a comma, open brackets. Yeah, with data as. So what we're going to do is, actually, let me comment that out first. Comment that out first because we're going to do select all from country data where country in. So we want the data for these places. So we want Algeria. So let me just put the quotes. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 7 or 8, yeah. So we'll start with Algeria. So I just picked the countries at the top. Like when I printed out the data set, I just picked a couple of countries at the top, and that's what I decided to use. Yes. Even for a minute. Okay, so yeah, let's print that and see what happens. So we're selecting all where country is in. Okay, so in is another logical operator, but we'll learn more about logical operators in the next video. So now let's make this temporary table, what we call CTE. So with data A as, okay, so this is the syntax I use in Postgres. Let's see if it works here. So with data A as, so we want to do select. You'll forgive me if I forget to capitalize from. Oh, now it's called data A. Yeah, so let's see what happens. So if we do, we're just trying here. No. I don't think that even makes sense. I have to select the whole thing. Okay. So to truly be sure it worked, let's do limit Q. Yeah, because I don't know if it's just rerunning the first one. Ooh, this is so interesting. So yeah, maybe another thing I can just mention at this point is when you're curious about something, when it comes to like code, just try. Like the worst thing that could happen is you get an error. And whatever platform you're using, will probably tell you where the error is and what it is. And that's like a learning process because I was not sure what's going to happen like here, but here we are. So it actually works. So we're selecting all from data A. So I won't like don't worry so much about this if you've not understood what exactly I've done, because I'm going to create another video dedicated towards CTE. So now at this point is where I'm going to show you, I'm going to answer these questions and it's going to be more clear like what's going on. So if we are to run this again, yeah, we run the whole thing now, all of them. As you can see, we have, these are 8, yeah? But then now we want to select all from data underscore A, where country not equals to. So there are two ways you can write not equals to. You can either write it like this. So not equals to, let's say, Algeria. And country not equals to Albania. So ideally what should happen is it should print everyone else excluding those two. So yeah, let's run it all and see what happens. Yeah, and there you go. So the question was print out all data points excluding Algeria, Albania, and Angola. So Algeria, Albania. Let's also add and so I'm intentionally using and 3 times because the whole point of this tutorial is to illustrate to you guys how not equals to works. But ideally, it would have been so much easier to just write where country not in. But that's not the purpose of this. That's a logical operator. So I'm just showing you how this works. And I guess my parting shot for this is the best thing you could ever do to yourself as someone who's getting into coding, as someone who wants to use code to solve problems, is to open your mind. Open your mind, like learn all these fundamentals, grasp them very well. Yeah. So that when you're posed with a problem that you need to solve, a question that you need to answer, you know how you can combine all these various fundamentals that you've learned and yeah, come out with a very interesting solution, give very interesting insights that yeah, move your organization forward. Otherwise, yeah, that's it for me, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this. I really hope you're finding this tutorials useful. If you did, let me know down below in the comments. And yeah, if there's any particular thing that you'd want to see me cover, please do let me know. I am here to serve you guys. I am here to share my knowledge. It would be really nice to get some messages like, oh yeah, I went through your tutorials. My SQL is at this level. Oh yeah, your tutorials helped me get through this interview. How else can I help you? Let me know. Otherwise, that's it for me. And thank you guys. See you in the next one. Bye.